You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. John C. Maxwell said that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast, Episode 13, Develop a Strong Routine for Success. Moving Forward Leadership Team, welcome back to yet another great episode that I got lined up for you. Today's episode is going to be all about routine and how you can develop a strong routine to ensure your success within your organization. But before I dive in there, I got a few things I'd like to go over, of course. First off, if you're tuning in for the first time, I'd like to welcome you to Moving Forward Leadership Podcast. This podcast is all about giving you practical advice and examples and guidance on how to be a better leader, either at home, with your family, or within work, or any volunteer organization you're part of. It doesn't matter. Leadership's in your lives daily, so this podcast is all designed about helping you do that better. Okay? I'm going to talk about a few resources before we kick off into today's episode. Of course, on our website of movingforwardleadership.com/best reads. That is my best reads section. So if you go there are 4 books there which I recommend to any leader out there to read if you want to develop your knowledge further, aside from, of course, listening to this podcast. Of course, if you have any questions or for me, which I will gladly answer, or if you have any questions about the podcast in general, or any questions for me personally, you can feel free to reach out to me either through email at scott@movingforwardleadership.com, or you can go onto the website at the contact me page and fill out the form there. As well, you can also follow me on Twitter at MFL, as in Moving Forward Leadership _podcast, and feel free to shoot me a tweet that way. A couple other resources out there. Don't forget, I have a Facebook page where I go ahead and put up updates and various posts and stuff like this. There's also a Facebook group, so if you want to come and discuss leadership, I'm in that group and I talk about it, throw questions pretty much daily. Feel free to swing on by and join us, and let's start talking about leadership, and we basically have a leadership community out there for people, because there isn't really one out there right now. Don't forget, you can also sign up for my monthly newsletter. No, I'm not harassing you daily with emails and so on. It's just monthly, where I go over some new things that's going on with me and the website, as well as the podcast, what episodes that you may have missed on if you're not subscribed, and as well different leadership articles throughout the month, which I found interesting. Speaking of subscription, if you're not subscribed to me, what are you doing? First off, if you're listening, you should subscribe, okay? And it's easy. You can either go to Shout Engine, Google Play Music, iTunes, or Stitcher, or whatever podcast app you're using on your smartphone, if you're listening via your smartphone, alright? Subscribe, and while you're there and you're subscribing me, how about you do me one last favor, and that is leave me a review and a rating. This helps me basically get more noticed out there, and helps me out in generating more people coming to the podcast on the site, and basically helps me reach out to more people and help them, which is what I'm all about. So, all that's great, but I got some actually even better exciting news than any of that right now. And that is, I got an ebook which has been published, okay? So if you go to movingforwardleadership.com and you scroll all the way to the bottom of the homepage, you will see my ebook, The 9 Foundations of Leadership, which I've written there. Now that ebook is on Amazon for $5 US right now. But seeing you're listening to me talk, I think I'll do you a favor. And that is, you can get that ebook for free. Yeah, not $5, but free. And it's pretty simple. Just go to my website again, movingforwardleadership.com. Scroll to the bottom, you'll see the ebook there, and there's a link in the text of it. And all you need to do is just follow that online form, and a copy is going to be for you for free. Now, keep in mind 2 things. 1, there's only 100 copies available, all right? And 2, it's only available to the 31st of May. So if you're interested and you want to save some money, I would go basically hit pause right now and go and do that. Or you can just wait until the 31st of May, or probably I would say even earlier than that, or even right now. You might as well just not waste your time and go ahead to Amazon and give me $5 US. Either way, you'll get a copy of the ebook, and I'm happy. All right, sound good? So go and get your copy, whichever way you want to. Doesn't really matter to me, but I think free is better. Anyway, I think that's enough for now. Let's dive into today's topic at heart, shall we? And that is developing a strong routine for success. And why am I talking about that today? I'm talking about it because in my life, I find that a strong routine keeps me grounded and keeps me focused. It doesn't let me basically get off track. It doesn't let me chase the squirrels of life, I would call it. Squirrel and start running off to the side. A strong routine keeps me focused, keeps me on my toes, and allows me to focus on what is important, okay? And I'm going to tell you a little story. And that's when I was a second lieutenant, so brand new, freshly graduated from the Royal Military College of Canada. Had no routine at all. I was all over the map. I would show up to work and basically go straight to email, go start diving into work. I didn't really do anything. It was just one day I would be doing one thing, and the next day I would be doing something else. And what happened was, I didn't establish a routine, and I wasn't going through my checks in the morning, which I now do, and we'll get into this later, of the different tasks I have out there. And things started getting missed. And what we refer to in the Canadian Army is balls starting getting dropped. Think of a juggler juggling balls, and these balls are your tasks. Well, what happens, how good of a performer is a juggler when he starts dropping the balls? Not too well, right? So, one of my troops, he was supposed to go in a career course, and that's exactly what was happening. I was juggling balls, and then I dropped it, and then, a long story short was, I had to have him removed from that career course, and he had to do this other training, internal, which wasn't helping him at all. So, by me not having a good SALT routine and enabling me to keep those balls afloat, basically I set him back personally about 6 months in his career, which it really hit me hard, and that's basically where this came from. So the moral of the story is having a good routine allows you to keep focused and enables you to keep those balls up in the air. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into talk about my daily routine. Okay, and this thing has morphed itself throughout the years. I'm going to talk about the principles of a good routine. So if you don't have your own routine right now, you can go out and start developing yours, all right? And then I'm going to talk about some other routines, such as weekly routines and monthly, basically scheduling, but things that you can include throughout that time. Sound good? All right, so let's talk about my daily routine. So my daily routine consists of a few different various types of things. So the first thing I like to do most days, again, not every day is going to be exactly the same because situations do change, schedules change, and so on and so forth, but this gives you an idea of what 90% of my days look like. So as I've talked about in the past, I do enjoy working out, and that's one of the first things I try to do when I wake up in the morning. Boom, get up 5:50 in the morning and go for a 30-40 minute workout, okay? And that helps me basically make sure I get it in, because if I wait till later in the day, there's always excuses, always reasons why the workout doesn't get done. But I always find that I'm more energized throughout the day when I get my workout in the morning, first thing, than if I don't get it in the morning. As well, it gives me a sense of accomplishment. I've already completed something today, right away, as soon as I get out of bed. So for my workout, morning routine stuff, I'm not going to bore you with all those details, but getting ready for work, taking care of the boy, a little bit of time with the wife, breakfast, yada yada, okay? And then heading off to the office. And that generally takes about an hour or so. once I get into work, this is where things probably will get interesting for you, okay? And I don't walk into work right away and drop my bag, hang up my coat, log into the computer, and start pounding emails. Not at all. In fact, I probably won't touch email for about the first hour, okay? So what I do is I walk into work, say good morning everybody, basically walk into my office, close my door, put my bag down, take off my jacket, and then I sit in my chair and I throw in my earphones and then I meditate for about 10 minutes, okay? And I'm not talking meditation, the stereotypical meditation, sitting there, legs crossed, hands on the knees type thing, and going to myself. No, I have a couple different meditation audios on my phone. One for focusing, another one for relaxation, a couple other different ones of those topics as well. And it's basically how I feel that day. What do I need to meditate on, or basically get my mind straight? So if I'm frustrated, if I'm having a rough couple days, it's basically the calming meditation. If I need to focus, we have a big task at hand, then it's the focusing meditation, so on and so forth. So I do that for about 10 minutes. Door closed, earphones off, computer still off, just me in my office, and 10 minutes meditation. That's pretty much it. Once I'm done that, pour myself a cup of coffee on my Keurig that's in my office, grab it, and then I walk around for the first 30 minutes of the day. Okay? And here I'm just going around talking to my people and seeing how their night was, or if it's Monday morning, how their weekends were, and chit-chatting. There's always a little bit of office talk, or shop talk as I always refer to it as, but basically what I'm doing is trying to continually establish and build on relationships within our organization, okay? Now, there's another secondary focus to that, and that is I'm trying to gauge the pulse of my organization as well. So, seeing how people are doing, how morale is, how production is, so on and so forth, kind of in an indirect route. Okay, and that allows me to get a sense of feel of things I may need to focus on, right? Or where I may be focusing too much attention on. After I'm done my walk around, I get my core team that work directly for me. Okay, there's 3 of them, and the 4 of us sit down in my office and we have something we refer to as morning prayers. Now, I don't mean to be disrespectful if you're into religion or anything. I don't mean that at all. However, morning prayers is basically, I get together with my core folks, and we go through what is on everybody's schedules, what is on the priority list, what needs to get done, what is the immediate action thing, what may be missing, so on and so forth. And we discuss that for about 5 or 10 minutes. And that's just to make sure me and my core team, the people that work directly for me, the closest with me, we're all on the same page. And we're all working towards that common goal. Because if the 4 of us aren't working towards that common goal, then the rest of the organization isn't going to follow suit. Okay? And then basically, it's diving into what those first priorities are. Okay? Always have your number 1 priorities, and this should come out of your morning prayer, what your number 1 priority is. And that should be the first thing you dive into, because that is the number 1 priority, right? So go in, start hammering away at the priorities, and then I start ticking them off. So whatever's number 1 priority, boom, first thing done. Whatever's the next second priority, boom, down. Okay, so on and so forth. Oh, number 3 priority, the person I need to talk to is out of the office today. Okay, that goes right to the bottom of the list. And then start hitting number 4 became number 3. And start hitting those. And start taking things down throughout the day. I try to not spend more than an hour at a time at my desk in the busiest time. So around, just like in school, around 50 minutes. All right, I take a little break, get up, walk around, use the washroom, get another cup of coffee, another drink of water, and go to other people's offices and talk to them about various issues and so on and so forth. The next thing I do in my routine for the day is at lunchtime I completely walk away from my office. Okay, sometimes this isn't possible, but most of the time it is. And I find I come back in the afternoon more energized and more focused than if I stayed at my desk throughout lunchtime. Okay, so if I didn't get my workout in the morning, first thing in the morning, this is the time when I'm doing it at lunchtime. If I I'm going to have lunch out someday, obviously lunchtime. If I want to grab a coffee with a friend or my brother who actually is in here in Kingston with me, lunchtime is a great time to do that. So on and so forth. There are a million different things that I could do during lunchtime. And I know too many people out there that just eat at their desk, continue to pound away, and don't give themselves that refresher break at lunchtime that they should. Now, sometimes I get it, depending on the industry or the work scenario you're in, situation you're in, you may not be able to do that. But if you are in that office environment where you can get away at lunchtime, then do it, because you will feel more focused, you will be more energized to tackle the tasks in the afternoon than if you just stayed in your office at your desk and continue to get energy drained from you. So the afternoon just continues, meetings, working on files or email or whatever that's going on. And then finally, at the end of the day, what I like to do is have a wrap-up chat with my right-hand man, my right-hand person, okay? The one that works directly with me 90% of the time. And we basically go over the day, what did we accomplish, what we didn't accomplish, what outstanding issues there are, so on and so forth, so that the next morning we're already on the same page, he and I, okay? So that is my daily routine. When I come after that, I come home and dinner and bath time with the boy and put him to bed, and often work on this podcast, so on and so forth. So that's my daily routine. Maybe there's some things in there which you can use. I would think so if you're not doing a lot of this stuff. Maybe there's other things in there that you can add to your routine that I didn't mention, alright? So tailor it to however it works for you. I'd like to add, if you go to the best book section, which I mentioned, the book in there, The Power of When, will seriously help you with your routine. Because the author there, Dr. Browse, gives you a great routine for your day and the best times for you to do things. And some of these things in my routine are actually done that way. For example, meditation. I aim to meditate between 7 and 9 a.m. as he indicates in his book. Unfortunately, my workouts aren't really conducive to his work, because he suggests I do my workout around between 5 and 6 p.m. With my life, unfortunately, that doesn't work. But my normal work day falls in line with how he says I should do it, i.e. when I should be answering emails, when I should be doing strategic level thinking, when I should be doing calls, and so on and so forth. So totally recommend you go into the Best Book section, not Best Buy, that's an electronics store, but the Best Book section. Check it out, and seriously, it's a great read. If it interests you, click the link there and get your own copy. So let's move on to principles of good routine, because without principles, you're basically just going to be running around. So, in my mind, a good routine has 4 different principles that you must incorporate in, okay? The first principle, first and foremost, a good routine takes care of yourself, okay? You take care of yourself with a good routine. So, and you'll see it in mine. The workout is taking care of myself. The meditation portion is taking care of myself. Walking away at lunchtime is taking care of myself, okay? These are all examples of which I've incorporated in my routine, where I take care of myself to make sure that I am good to go. I'm at my top level so that I can perform for my people and for my organization. The next principle of a good routine is you communicate with your team. And you've seen that as well, okay? My walking around for the first 30 minutes, my morning prayers, okay? even when I walk away at lunchtime, what I'll often do is host or have section or my unit's lunches. Okay, I'll invite a lot of the senior leadership with me, and we'll go to lunch somewhere. All right, and that kind of dovetails into the next principle of a routine for a leader, and that is team building. So during my routine, I try to continually build up my team. Again, that walk around for 30 minutes, the end of the day wrap up, morning prayers, these are all team building activities. Although you'll never see them, all right, in any book or anything of that nature, they really are. These are team building activities. Teams come in all shapes and sizes, okay? And this is the smallest one. And then finally, the final principle of good routine is flexibility, all right? You don't want to completely book up your day. You don't want to completely book up your week. You don't want to completely book up your month, because things change and you need to be able to react to those changes. And having flexibility in your routine, i.e. noticing, okay, I can't do this today because something else is a higher priority and wants to take my time. That's not a big deal. So for example, if my wife needs to go in early into work and I need to take care of our son straight away, then I know my workout isn't going to happen during my first thing in the morning. So I'll move that, I'll take it away, but I'll add it into my lunchtime. Okay, the lunchtime walk away from my desk. Or for example, if I have meetings first thing in the morning, I may not necessarily get that 30-minute walk around done that day. That's okay, right? Because you need flexibility, because you don't control everything. But the principle is, as long as you have flexibility built into your routine, then you can adjust as you need. All right, so that's principles of a good routine. Let's talk about some other routines, okay? That was basically daily. There's also weekly routines, okay? And a few different things of weekly routines occur for me on a work front. Is basically my weekly meeting with my senior leadership of my organization. I have two different ones, all right? Weekly meeting where I am a subordinate and my boss is doing his weekly meeting, and then I have my weekly meeting with my guys where I'm the boss at the table, right? And this is where we talk about different issues within an organization. He and I pass different guidance and so on and so forth to make sure everybody's on the same page. Another weekly routine point that I always try to make is I try to do a walk around of my organization. Now this is different than the 30-minute walk around I talked about at the beginning of the day. Within my organization, I'm actually dispersed across 9 buildings, all right? And it could probably take about 20 minutes to drive across all 9 to each of them. Maybe a little bit less, but nonetheless, it takes a bit of time. We're spread out, and it takes time for me to be able to get one location to the other. So during the week, I always try to set an hour or so where I go out and visit my people that are outside of the building I work out of, right? Because I don't see them every day. I don't see their faces all the time. And I want to, see how they're doing, see what's bothering them, see how production is for them, and so on and so forth. And also talk about non-shop things, right? See how their family is, what interests they have, their hobbies, what sports they're into, discuss. Hockey's going to be a big one in the upcoming playoffs, make fun of the Toronto Maple Leaf fans out there, cheer on the Montreal fans, so on and so forth. But the point is, I'm getting out there and I'm seeing my people on a weekly basis. And this in turn shows them I actually care. And I care about their well-being. And then finally, on a monthly routine, I try to make sure all my various committees have meetings, okay? If that is their mandate to have those meetings. We try to do larger scale team building activities, get-togethers, barbecues, social events, so on and so forth. Again, it's all about building up the team and basically becoming a family, all right? And we try to do that at a monthly level. So ladies and gentlemen, that is everything about routines, okay? I hope that this episode helps you, makes you understand and makes you believe that routines are actually beneficial despite the bad rap that they sometimes get out there. And hopefully you're not going to be me, the juggler, who accidentally goes ahead and drops a few balls. Alright? So just to wrap up before I head out here, remember that a good routine has the following principles. You take care of yourself, you communicate with your team, you build up your team, and you have flexibility so that you don't get completely booked up and can adapt to a change in the situation. Remember, there's daily routines such as the one I talk about myself, and feel free to back up and go through it again so that you can develop your own, or there's also weekly routines and monthly routines. So what I'd like to do is challenge you all, okay? Especially those who don't have a routine right now. And I'd like to challenge you, build a routine, okay? Both, let's start off with daily and then look at the weekly and look at the monthly, okay, for yourself or your organization, I should say. And then email me it and let me know how this is helping you, or you think that's not helping you. And who knows, maybe I can help out. Alright, so how can you get in touch with me again? Again, just email me at scott@movingforwardleadership.com or swing by the website at movingforwardleadership.com and fill out the contact form under the contact me page. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the show. And remember, keep trying, keep achieving, keep moving forward. Take care now.